continues next week. I can't believe what we have witnessed. Montez shotgun snap, he drops. Here comes pressure in his face, runs away from that, gets away from the defender, running to the near side, the 30, directs his driving downfield, lobs it along the sideline, caught by Shea Fields in the end zone. Touchdown! Touchdown, Colorado!
You know, gang, they don't make many arms like that one right there. Steven Montez certainly has a rocket, and his 4 touchdowns helped the Buffaloes improve to 3-0, 41-21 as they knock off Northern Colorado here at Folsom Field. Coach Gary Barnett, I'm voice of the Buffs, Mark Johnson. Well, there was so much talk, Coach, about the offense coming into this one. Did we see improvement, do you think?
Well, I think so, Mark. You saw a great balance. You saw 2 players with 8 catches, another with 6. Jay McIntyre with 4 and 4 touchdowns spread out between all of them. They all got a touchdown pass. So I think that's an improvement. Lindsey runs for 151. He only had 51 at halftime. So I think so. You got to, take it with a little bit of a grain of salt on because of who you're playing. But I think at the same time, it's hard to win any game. Yeah. Any game. And I know it's easy for us to sit up there and for fans to be critical of how you win it, but let me tell you, winning is what it's about. You wish it was every game I ever coached. I wish it was better. So I give them credit. A win's a win. It's hard to win, and I think they made progress. Yeah, I don't think there's any question that he was trying to stay in the pocket, and he's not going to get it all done in a week. You got 3 days of practice, so. And I don't know, his nature is that he may not be able to do it any more than what he's doing now, but I think Brian Lindgren and Darren Chiaverini did a good job of calling plays that got him outside and let him utilize his strengths a little bit. It's going to have to be a combination. If they're going to run this offense, they're going to have to be able to stay inside. I think one of the things by staying inside he did today inside the pocket was he was able to get the ball distributed to all these receivers the way he did.
Man, there were times when Steven Montez was very impressive. You know, one of the great new traditions here at the University of Colorado before a ball game, a couple of hours out from kickoff, is the Buff Walk, and we were there.
We bleed black and gold. The earliest memories of my life were watching the national championship with my dad when I was like 5 years old. We've been to every Buffs game since ever that I can remember, and now that I have my own family, I bring them to every game. My kids play football, and it's their dream to play football someday, and they love the Buffs, so it's neat for them to be able to get high fives and stand next to the players and just see how big they are, and it makes it personal to them that they get to know the players.
My dad has season tickets and he goes to a lot of Buffs games. It's really fun to see all the players up close and high-five them.
This environment totally fosters it. It brings it just from watching on the TV to you're standing right next to the players that you're watching, and I mean, you see that they're down to earth, you see that they're just kids from some high school, and it kind of makes it a reality to your kids that, if they work hard, that they have a chance to do these same things. It's really neat. It makes it super personal.
Fun time before a ball game. In fact, you got a chance to be out there. Welcome the team to the stadium every week. Do so next week when Washington's coming to town as we continue with Gary Barnett. On the defensive side of the ball, first time the Buffs have given up a touchdown. In fact, they give up 3 in this ball game. And boy, maybe more so than anything else, what really hurt Colorado. A couple of targeting penalties. Afalapa kicked out of the ball game in the first half. He'll be back next week. Chris Malumba kicked out in the second half. He'll have to miss the first half this next week. But those were really harming penalties.
They were, and don't forget there was a drop pass that should have been a touchdown by UNC as well. So harmful penalties is right. You get Laguda back, but when Afalabi's penalty occurred, that was a 14-point swing because Colorado was about to get the ball in great field position and be able to score a touchdown. And instead, it turned around the other way, and then Chris Malumba having his occur in the second half means he lost all of the second half. He loses all the first half against Washington, and we're just not that deep at that position to be able to afford to have him not play at all at that point in time. So not only do you get two players lost for a whole game, you lose the penalties, you lose the scoring opportunities, a little bit of momentum. But I do think that it aroused the crowd a little bit, and we talked during the broadcast that we need a little more crowd, that 12th man sort of thing in this game. And I do think when Chris got thrown out of the game, that our crowd got into it a little bit more and may have made a difference. Who knows?
Last couple of moments of the segment here. Let me throw this at you. So next week now the Buffaloes dive into the deep end of the pool. Number 6 Washington coming to town. Rematch the Pac-12 title game. Are the Buffs ready for that level of competition?
I don't know if we really know what this team is about yet. I don't know that we know what they're totally about. So we're going to find out. But it would be nice to know just where we are with the progress for 2017.
It'll be a good measuring stick next week. A top 10 team of the Washington Huskies. Late one, 8 o'clock with the kickoff between the Buffs and the Huskies. Stay with us here to Stampede. We come back. Middle linebacker Drew Lewis is going to join us.
Intensity, intensity, intensity. Offensive line, I want to see some finished blocks. We had 0 knockdowns last game. 0. We better have double digits. Finish your blocks. Everybody got it?
Yes, sir.
Everybody clear?
Yes, sir.
Intensity the whole time, from the start to the finish.
The pride and tradition of part of the Buffaloes will not be entrusted to the timid or the weak. What are you going to do about it today? You take advantage. I'm going to watch it.
How you play today, on field today, is who you are. Is who you are. You guys understand that? All that work, all that practice, all that means, all that means, and there's 12 opportunities, and one of them is today. You guys with me on that? One-on-one battles have to be won. Every down, it's a game of one-on-ones. Must win your one-on-one. I want 11 hats on the ball and tackle.
Some motivational words there from some of the coaches ahead of the ballgame last week as the Buffs wrapped up non-conference play, knocking off Northern Colorado 41-21. Linebacker Drew Lewis joining us here for a couple of minutes. All right, so what value is there in a pregame speech? Do you really get pumped up a little bit when you hear those guys going at it like that?
I love hearing that kind of stuff, really. You know, you got to hear Phil Lindsay do it himself in person because that man can really get you going, man. He'll be screaming and stuff. It's a good talk. Yeah.
It's funny you say that. I told him on the radio show last week, I said, you know what, when you're done with this football thing, you got to be a motivational speaker.
I think he could pull that off.
I think he's got that in him a little bit.
Dude, but he got that fight in him.
Hey, you look like you're having a lot of fun playing football right now, are you?
Yeah, no, I'm loving it right now. Yeah, every aspect, really.
By the way, he has started this season now with 10 or more tackles in 3 straight games. First time since Greg Biekert to do that. What's kind of been the key for you being so active and effective so far?
Yeah, when I'm going in there and I'm playing, the one thing I'm thinking of is how I can make a biggest impact for my team. You know, I'm not trying to be selfish. I want to be as selfless as I can. And the way I do that is by locking in, and I put my body on the line. I'll lay out for a tackle. I'll sprint out sideline to sideline, whatever I can do to help my team.
You know, one thing, and we talked about this many times with Gary Barnett in our broadcast about DJ Elliott doing a good job of finding guys and figuring out what they do well and then putting them in a position to be successful. You kind of like the way that DJ's been using you defensively?
Yeah, no, absolutely. That's a good point because I think he really has used my talents to benefit the whole team. The way he's positioning me, whether it's going to be sending me into the blitz or dropping me back into coverage, I think that he's got it down to maximize my potential.
Boy, Drew's playing some good football right now. You know, one of the great new traditions of the University of Colorado, I don't know if he gets a chance to notice it, but it's happening in the stands. That's the students and Chip doing the Icelandic clap, and it looks just like this.
So the second quarter, they're going to get someone from band, and they'll bring out a drum and hit it, and then we clap with our hands above our head. It's really cool. They were doing it in Iceland at soccer games, and one of our alumni named Ted actually thought it'd be a cool idea to have it at our games, and it's been awesome. Chris Fowler tweeted about it. It's been really well liked. It's called the Buff Clap, is what we call it here. We wanted to have more things that the whole student section could do at the football games, and so we started doing it, and the students really liked it. We were really impressed by how it caught on. We think it looks cool, so we like to keep doing it. Some of our people looking at CU have really caught on to it and really think it's cool. It's really like kind of branded our student section, and people pay attention to us now, as well as our football team.
Kind of fun what they're doing in the stands. I know you guys are focused on the game all the time. Do you ever notice what the kids are doing and the crowd's doing?
It's hard not to hear that, you know what I'm saying? Even we're out there in the midst of the game and they're doing that chant. They do it before kickoff. They do it sometimes during a timeout or maybe like after a turnover or something. Sure. And yeah, it gets you jacked up. We all trying to watch out. We want to focus, but we want to watch the crowd because that's like entertaining.
Yeah,
cool.
Good stuff at Folsom Field. No better place for a college football game. Well, on Saturday night, of course, it's a late one, 8 o'clock kickoff. Buffs and the Huskies of Washington, a rematch of the Pac-12 title game. When you start getting into the deep end of the pool here and jumping to Pac-12 play, do you know during the week you kind of see the intensity rising a little bit in practice?
Yeah, and we definitely are rising up in that intensity. And Coach Mack's emphasizing that more than anything, I think, right now. He knows that the level of play is going to go up all around, offense, defense, special teams. And, you know, Washington's a legit opponent. We have to respect them in every aspect, and that's what we're going to do.
You know, I know it's a rematch of the Pac-12 title game. Didn't go the Buffs' way last year. You played mainly in a special team set of circumstances in that ball game. The media's going to make a big deal out of this. Fans are going to make a big deal out of it. You really can't allow yourself to do that, can you? I mean, it's got to be just, okay, this is who we have next in the schedule, right?
That's exactly what I'm trying to think. You know, we want to fall back on our type of play. We don't want to look at the opponent. You know, it could be, our coach always says we could play like Dallas Cowboys right now. And we're going to play Colorado football against them. You know, that's what we're going to do. And we're not trying to believe the hype. We're not trying to buy into all of that stuff. We're just going to, you know, fall back on what we know.
Where this defense is playing right now, you like the level it's playing at?
Yeah, you know, I'm noticing the intensity out here in practice right now. Even today is the first day of pads. Everyone's a little more locked in with a little chip on their shoulder, so I'm liking that.
All right, good luck this weekend. That's Drew Lewis. The Buffs have got a top 10 team in the Washington Huskies coming to town this weekend. We're going to flip to the offensive side of the ball. Jonathan Huckins is going to join us next year in the Stampede.
I was asked to cue Ralphie, which means that I get to tell the head handler for Ralphie when to let Ralphie run. And for me, that is such a precious moment to be able to cue up when our mascot, which is the greatest mascot in the United States, to be able to run on the field. I graduated from this school 40 years ago, and this was such a precious moment for me to be part of Ralphie's 50th anniversary. I have watched Ralphie run for so many years.
Well, during this 50th anniversary of the running of Ralphie, we have faculty members every week announcing kind of the start of Ralphie, or releasing her, if you will, from the cage. As we continue here in the Buffalo Stampede, Jonathan Huckins joining us, center for the Colorado Buffaloes. Wanting to bring Jonathan on. Number one, talking Ralphie. It's always kind of fun talking with the big fellas about running behind Ralphie, but also that Texas State game because of Hurricane Harvey and Irma. Of course, we've seen Buffs carrying state flags. You being a Texas guy, that'd be kind of special coming out there with the Texas flag.
Yeah, it was really special. You know, I got to represent my state that I grew up in and lived in most of my life. You know, just kind of bringing it out in Colorado and just like showing the support that we had. And you know, that same week we sent our team bus down to Texas. So you know, just all that accumulation, just really, it was a good feeling running out with the Texas flag.
Yeah, outstanding. Have you heard much from family and friends? How's everyone doing kind of in the wake of all of the win?
Family and friends are doing good. You know, obviously they're going through some tough times, and you know, they've got things to figure out, but I mean, for the most part, everybody's safe, and you know, family's back in the houses now, so that's really positive.
Now, I did notice with holding the flag with two hands above your head, you really couldn't get up to full speed when you came running out.
Yeah, you know, big guys like me don't get to full speed a lot, but I'll tell you what, it was a little tougher holding that flag, but you know, it was a big pleasure and a big privilege to be able to do that.
You know, then last week, Johnny Huntley, being a Florida guy with Irma down there, he came out with the Florida flag, and so I'd imagine you guys have talked quite a bit about this with, you know, kind of Texas and Florida being involved, and a lot of guys from those states here in the team.
Yeah, me and us Texas guys and the Florida guys have actually talked a lot. You know, just with all the catastrophes that are going on, and you know, kind of just the similar situations we're in, you know, just to help us support each other and, you know, really you know, have support for each other in these hard times.
Nice gesture by the Colorado Buffaloes as they get set for UW coming to town, opening up Pac-12 conference play. Again, in this 50th anniversary of Ralphie, we're doing a lot with Ralphie and looking back to a lot of the history, and right now we're talking with some of the handlers.
The reason I became a Ralphie handler was because I just wanted to be super involved with the university that gave so much to me. I'm really glad I made the choice to come here for school, and just being a Ralphie handler, I get to carry on that pride and tradition that goes along with being a CU Buff. It's been a great opportunity, and I'm so grateful to the university. It's a pretty big deal. It's a huge privilege to be a part of this team, to be a part of this great tradition, this 50 years of Ralphie. It's just been a lot of fun. A lot of hard work and effort goes into being a Ralphie handler, and I think that shows on game day on the field. People usually only see us once a week, but we really work hard all week. Taking care of Ralphie, taking care of our bodies, and just making sure we lead the team out onto the field on Saturdays. To run with Ralphie, we really need 5 people on the Buffalo, 2 people up front, 2 in the back, and then 1 in the very back applying the brakes. And then the rest of the team is spread out evenly throughout the field, making sure that Ralphie's safe, her path is safe, no one's going to get in the way. And we just do a really big job of getting the team, bringing them out onto the field, and getting the fans pumped up before a run. When I came here, I saw Ralphie run for the freshmen, and I was hooked, and I said, man, I would love to be a part of that someday. And it means a lot to the students to see Ralphie charge out onto the field.
Always good to hear from the Ralphie handlers. Now the Colorado Buffaloes, Jonathan Huckins and company, getting ready to open up Pac-12 conference play on Saturday. It's a late one, a rematch of the Pac-12 title game with a top 10 team, the Washington Huskies, coming to town. Do you like playing the late games?
Yeah, you know.
It's way too late for us old guys, but how about you young guys?
You know, sitting in that hotel it's all right, but you know, the atmosphere and you know, just the feeling, the collective effervescence that the stands have for those kind of games. It's really unmatched by kind of those earlier day games.
Collective effervescence. That right there is a CU education in action right there. Love it. Hey, how about this Washington team? What do you see in them?
You know, big, physical. I mean, they only lost some secondary guys, most of their front sevens back, so it's going to be a very competitive game, and it's going to be a very physical one.
I'd have to think, though, and again, all the build-up to something like this, the media makes a big deal out of it, fans do. You guys probably can't allow yourself to think that way, right? For you, it's just the next step in kind of working towards a goal, correct?
Exactly. You know, Coach Adams explains it as this is the most important game because it's the next one we're playing, you know, and Coach Mack always says it's the Colorado that we're worried about. So, you know, we understand that Washington's an elite rival or an elite opponent, and we understand that we have to bring our game, but we also know that this is just another game and another game for us to perform and show what we got.
You know, you got yourself dinged up. You weren't out there last week. How did you grade your brothers out there in the offensive line with 212 yards rushing?
I mean, they had a great game. You know, there were some hiccups at times, but I think the thing that really impressed me about those guys is they came back and really improved on what they did after, you know, talking to the coaches and just really evaluating their performance on the sideline.
Are we getting you healthy again here soon?
Yep, I'm going to be out there as soon as I can.
I love to hear that. By the way, coming up next, we're going to talk some volleyball. I know Jonathan likes where the Buffs take care of the Rams. The volleyball team did, knocking off number 22 CSU over the weekend. Coming up next here to Stampede, we're going to talk to Alexis Smith.
So we had a great win this past weekend. On Saturday, we went up to Colorado State, saw them on their home floor. They're ranked number 22 in the country, and we got the win in 5 after being down 0-2. It's a big win for our program because we haven't beaten them up there since 1995, and it's actually the first time that Tom Hilbert's lost to a team from the state of Colorado. So on top of that, we lost in the NCAAs there in 2014 and 5. So a couple firsts and a little bit of payback. So it was a good weekend for us.
The head coach of the Buffs volleyball team, Jesse Mahoney, talking about a big weekend for the Colorado Buffaloes as they go 3-0, win one at home against Xavier, then a couple on the road. Well, one was technically a neutral side against Xavier, and then they went at Colorado State. First time since 1995. By the way, that happened. Great weekend for Alexis Smith, in fact. Nice weekend for the Buffs. 3-0. Buffs are playing. You guys are playing very good volleyball right now, aren't you?
We are. I think we just want to continue to prove as we go into Pac-12 this weekend, but we're feeling good about the wins we've gotten so far.
You had 25 kills. And you were named the Pac-12, by the way, Offensive Player of the Week. And we're breaking some news here. The Volley Mob National Player of the Week as well. Nice honors. Well, what does it mean when you get something like that?
Thank you. It's such an honor. I really owe it to my teammates and my coaches, though, because without them, I couldn't have gotten an award like that. But it really does mean a lot.
Yeah, so she picks up a couple of nice pieces of hardware there. Let's go to the victory over Colorado State. First time since 1995 the Buffs have won up in Fort Collins. Little intensity with a match like that?
Just a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Could you feel the difference?
Yes.
Yeah.
You know, going into that match, it really meant a lot, especially for the seniors on their team. When they lost that game going into the tournament up at CSU. So this is kind of like a revenge match for them, as well as the rest of us. We really just wanted to beat Colorado State.
See, I know most of the time you never talk about those revenge things, but it does mean something when you play a rivalry match like that, doesn't it?
Right. Especially another in-state school. That's always a big thing for us. But it was a fun atmosphere and just a great game.
With an atmosphere and an intensity like that, does that kind of prepare a team to get ready to jump into Pac-12 play like you will here shortly?
For sure. That's a big win to come off of, and that really, I think, gave us a lot of energy and motivation moving forward.
Yeah. So you pick up the Offensive Player of the Week in the Pac-12. Brenna DeLuzio picks up the Freshman of the Week in the Pac-12. Nice honor for her.
Yeah, Brenna's a stud. She deserves it.
Somebody once told me that you'd be nothing without her. Is that true?
That is 100% true.
Volleyball team playing very well right now. By the way, over the weekend, there was a great event. Mike McIntyre's talked a lot about it here the last couple of weeks, called the Hike for Her.
Today we are hosting the second annual Hike for Her. We came together with this cause because my mother developed ovarian cancer, was diagnosed in February of 2015, and we lost her November 11th of 2015. And the support of all those that came around to help her through that battle, and we wanted to really find a way to bring more awareness to the cause. Of course, we're in beautiful Boulder, Colorado, with various hiking trails, and during the time that processing the grief of losing my mother, I spent many hours just hiking through these trails, and it brought a lot of healing, as well as just knowing that people in the community love being outdoors. This is a really important day for me and my family. My dad and my sister and some of my family members are here from Nashville, Tennessee. And as we're hiking, the whole purpose of putting together the slogan of Hike for Her is because we are specifically thinking about our mother and coming together to support each other in the process of our grieving, as well as hiking with other families that are going through similar processes, as well as trying to support those that are in the midst of the battle against ovarian cancer.
Yeah, it was a great event over the weekend, benefiting ovarian cancer awareness, by the way, the Hike for Her. By the way, go to cubus.com. There's information there, in fact, if you'd like to donate or something. We've all been touched by cancer, so of course, at one time or another. As we continue with Alexis Smith, CU volleyball team coming off a great weekend. She was named the Volley Mob National Player of the Week, as we told you, after those 25 kills in the victories. The Buffs set number 22, Colorado State, for the first time since 1995, by the way. They've done that up at Fort Collins. All right, time to jump into the deep end of the pool right now. Conference play is here, and you know, coaches always talk about non-conference is nice, but this is kind of what you're shooting for, winning championships. So now it's time to up the game a little bit, correct?
Right. Pac-12 is probably the best volleyball conference in America. So every game is going to be tough, but we're excited for it.
How would you compare it? You started your career in the Big Ten. How would you compare the Pac-12? I mean, they say it's the best. You kind of see that?
I would say so. I say those two conferences are the most competitive. I read something this morning. Pac-12 has the most ranked teams right now.
Wow.
So as of right now, it is the best.
Including the Colorado Buffaloes, by the way, ranked number 25 this week. That's a nice little feather to have in your cap, being in the top 25.
Right.
Yeah.
It's exciting, for sure.
Yeah. Buffaloes will open up Pac-12 conference play. They head to Salt Lake City for a game Friday and then come back with Stanford. So a couple of very big ones. A couple of ranked teams, by the way. Utah in the top 20, Stanford the defending national champions. So I guess this will be a good litmus test right off the top to kind of know where you're at, huh?
Yeah, two really good teams right off the bat, especially Stanford being the national champs last year. So we have a lot to look forward to. We're going to have to play well, though.
By the way, the Cardinal coming to town on Sunday. Come on out and watch the Buffaloes. Good luck this weekend.
Thank you.
All right, Alexis Smith joining us. Colorado volleyball team jumping into Pac-12 conference play, just like the football team will on Saturday with Washington coming to town. We'll talk to you next time here on the Stampede.